All right, welcome to FNTV. This is the channel to watch if you are interested in stocks traded on Nasdaq First North. Today we're going to follow up on the last Q2 report interview we did with Arcane Crypto and dig deeper into the numbers. And to do that, we're going to get some help from equities analyst Milosz Papst from Edison Group. Welcome, Milosz.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And joining us today from company headquarters in Norway, as usual, is Torbjørn Bull Jenssen, the CEO of Arcane Crypto. Hello, and nice to see you again, Torbjørn.
Likewise. Nice to be here.
Great. So let's start it off with you then, Torbjørn. Some time now has passed since the release of the Q2 report. Do you want to remind the viewers a little bit of what some of the main takeaways were?
Yeah, no, so Q2 was a very strong quarter for us. It was the first quarter where we breached kind of 100 million SEK in revenue. We saw strong growth in our gross margin on sales. We had some strong recruitments. So overall, a very strong quarter in Arcane's journey.
Yeah, and since you released the report too, you resolved on a direct share issue, raising 61 million SEK. How will you use these funds?
So most of this money will be invested in our green data operation, which is kind of our mining operation. So we have ordered the first batch of machines, expect to have those live almost any day.
Do you have an update on when this will occur?
The machines has been shipped. I don't know precisely when they will arrive, and I don't want to kind of be too optimistic because there might be some hiccups, but I mean, it'll definitely become live during this quarter. And I'm really looking forward to this. It'll bring substantial revenue to the group. And actually, with current market conditions, we are kind of looking at kind of becoming cash flow positive by year end with our mining investments. So that's good news.
Okay, that is very big news. And how will you get all the electricity used for these mining rigs?
So we'll use renewable energy, which is very key to us. Initially, we are mining out of Norway. And as a lot of you viewers might know, there's been a period now with record high electricity prices. Even with those prices, the operation would be profitable, although the profit would be lower. But most recently, we've seen electricity prices coming back down again. The autumn is here. It's raining more in Norway. It's blowing more in Denmark. And this is the type of volatility we expect in the electricity market. It's a volatile market, just as the Bitcoin market is. Long term and going forward, our intention is to stay true to the kind of renewable part, but mine in several, or explore at least several countries, several geographies, to also get some diversification and robustness towards local electricity prices.
Okay, interesting. So are there any other major updates that you want to share with the viewers since the last time you were here?
So there are a couple of things that's happened. One is that we press released that Pure Digital, this interbank market where we are a large owner, they had their first test trade, which involved Zodia, which is a kind of institutional custody provider owned by Standard Chartered and Northern Trust. And this is a really, really important milestone to see that it's not only the consortium of banks with names like Bonnie Mellon and State Street and 4 others, but it's also the kind of custodians that are involved. And the project is not now at the stage where they are kind of capable of testing. I can also highlight that both Trio and Kaupang has launched kind of automatic buy functionality so that users can kind of get a kind of dollar cost average in a way to automatically buy Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency on a recurring basis, either kind of monthly, weekly, daily. And through that kind of smooth out the volatility and kind of have a better entry point. Also, I just also want to really highlight the explosive growth we're seeing in the Lightning Network right now. This is extremely beneficial to LN Markets, where we are a substantial investor, but also to the kind of the broader Bitcoin ecosystem, to what we are planning on doing on the payment side or on Tesla Coil. So it's really good to see how Lightning adoption is accelerating.
Okay, and I also noticed a press release this week that you are building out the organization. You hired a new CFO.
Yes, so we're bringing in a new CFO called Milosz Jenssen, who has a really strong background from kind of fintech. He's really strong in the finance function. Had several meetings with him. I'm very certain that he will bring a lot of value to the team. He has a lot of experience with kind of scale-up businesses, which will be very useful to us as we are going to scale up going forward.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for that update, Torbjørn. So we're going to turn to Milosz Papst now from Edison Group. You're doing equities research on Arcane. What do you consider the most important developments lately?
Sure. I mean, there were a number of important developments at Arcane Crypto in Q2 and more recently. Several of its early stage portfolio companies have shown substantial revenue growth in Q2, even if it was from a low base. Then I would also highlight the first successful trade on the Pure Digital platform, together with the fact that Pure Markets, which is the operator of the platform, was able to sign a letter of intent with BNY Mellon, who joined a consortium of Tier 1 investment banks alongside State Street. And then it is also important to know that Arcane Assets is exploring the issue and listing of an exchange-traded product tracking its hedge funds, which could potentially improve distribution and help grow the AUM, so assets under management.
So from your point of view, is it a good idea for Arcane to enter the Bitcoin mining business?
I see this as a promising move, given the recent Chinese ban on crypto mining, which resulted in the decline of the global hash rate, so the overall computation power used to secure the Bitcoin network. This in turn led to a decline in the difficulty of mining a block. Together with this continued strong Bitcoin price, this translates into favorable mining economics. The Chinese ban, I believe the Chinese ban could have also resulted in decline of the prices of new mining equipment, as well as shortening of delivery times, which all works in favor of Arcane Crypto's new business line. It is also worth highlighting that it will be powered renewable energy, which is important given that the Bitcoin carbon footprint has come into spotlight recently.
Okay, so from your point of view again, then how is an investment in shares in Arcane different from simply buying Bitcoins if you take a step back?
Well, Arcane Crypto is one of the digital assets companies which may be considered an infrastructure play on the emergence of this new asset class. This means that while the performance of some of its portfolio companies depend to some extent on the digital asset prices, the revenue models are normally based on fees and spreads charged on either assets under management or transaction volumes, which means that Arcane Crypto's portfolio is not a simple beta play on the Bitcoin price. It is obviously not worth noting that it is a portfolio of early stage businesses which are inherently risky.
Yeah. And for those who are following the company too, what are some key milestones in Arcane Crypto's portfolio from your point of view to watch for short term?
There are a number of milestones to watch for. Firstly, an important milestone is obviously the rollout of a kind of a unified tech stack, a cloud-based platform which will provide access to products offered by several of Arcane Crypto's portfolio companies. For Arcane Green Data, it will obviously be the further ramp up of the Bitcoin mining operations. For Pure Markets, it will be the go live of the Pure Digital platform. In case of Arcane Crypto, it will be the further rollout of the premium offering to large and corporate clients. And in case of Trio, it will be the shift to a spread-based broker model. And finally, for Arcane Assets, this will be reaching certain milestones in terms of assets under management, and for Tesla Coil, well, signing the first contracts with payment processors. Okay,
so a lot to watch for there. What is your view on digital assets adoption among investors going forward?
I believe that digital assets emerge as a new investable asset class with growing acceptance among both retail and institutional investors, as well as selected corporates. It is worth noting the significant change in the narrative of several major investment banks, which either started or restarted their cryptocurrency desks and also are now offering crypto investments to their wealthy clients. I believe that we are currently in the initial stages of digital assets adoption, especially among institutional investors, which may be compared to the emergence of commodities as investable asset class. I would expect continued growth in allocation to digital assets of global investment portfolios. Having said that, the current early adoption stage, high volatility, and the susceptibility to significant price deratings during bear markets suggests that growth may not be entirely smooth.
Yeah. Maybe I could bring Torbjørn in on that too. Do you have any things that you want to add when it comes to the digital assets adoption?
Yeah, and I completely share the view here. And we do see it ourselves with increasing interest from kind of family offices, more traditional players. Obviously, we see it through our participation in Pure, the kind of investment banks, the kind of underlying clients there that are taking this serious. And I think what is, as I pointed out, kind of the explosive growth around Lightning is really maturing.
Can you explain Lightning a little bit for those who might not be familiar?
Yeah, so Bitcoin works really well right now as an investment object, a scarce asset, digital gold, volatile, but it doesn't work very well as a payment instrument. And a part of the reason for that is the scalability issues, how many transactions you can handle per second in the blockchain. The Lightning Network is an overlay technology to Bitcoin, enabling instantaneous Bitcoin transactions, up to millions of transactions per second, without these scalability issues. So in El Salvador, where Bitcoin has become a legal tender, the reason they're able to do that is because they are using the Lightning Network for the transfers. So they can actually scale to McDonald's payments. If you go to McDonald's in El Salvador, you can actually pay with Bitcoin, and you do that over Lightning Network as a technology for scaling Bitcoin. So this is really what will enable Bitcoin to continue to grow, and especially grow into new use cases linked to payments, programmable payments, cross-border payments.
Okay, so I'm going to bring Milosz back on that too. So just taking a step back then, what is the investment thesis behind Bitcoin and digital, other digital assets, and how do you make it easier for people to adopt this method of payment?
Well, it is obviously a quite complex and controversial theme, but I believe that at its core, the investment thesis behind the Bitcoin and other digital assets center around three themes. Firstly, Bitcoin as an incorruptible, trustless, independent monetary system with a predefined currency supply based on the peer-to-peer network. And then secondly, the decentralized finance space, or DeFi space as we call it, as a global open alternative to the existing financial services system, granting all users free access to financial products such as borrowing, lending, saving, trading, payments, etc., without the need for traditional intermediaries and in a 24/7 setup. And finally, the use of non-fungible tokens, so NFTs, across various areas, including gaming, fine art, digital identity, and others.
So many use cases there. Well, thank you so much, Milosz, for providing us with your perspective on this too. Any last comments from you, Torbjørn, on the investment thesis or otherwise?
Well, not really right now. I have a lot that I'm really looking forward to share in relation to our Q3 report coming up later this month, especially around how we are kind of unifying this tech platform and really focusing now on bringing the different Arcane services kind of together to maximize the synergies. So, but I think I'll share more on that in Q3.
Okay, great. Well, that's all the questions we have for today then. So we're going to have to round it off there. I'm sure that everyone who watched now have a better grip on what's going on with Arcane and the crypto market. Me, myself, I do anyway. And Arcane Crypto's Q3 report is due later this month on October 29th. So make sure to tune back in then. And I'll be back with Torbjørn to talk about some of the highlights from that report. Again, thank you, Torbjørn, and thank you, Milosz, for joining us here today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you next time.